Addis Ababa is making efforts in its projects with urban development activities which are rapidly progressing. The green spaces, recreational areas, parking lots created in the city in connection with such projects, particularly the coded development, has already lifted up the city's aesthetics and development. The city is also said redefining urban development in Africa, blending modern architecture, green spaces and cleanliness. Talking to AMN Plus Chargé affairs of the German embassy in Addis Ababa, Ferdinand von Wehe has commended efforts of the Addis Ababa city administration in transforming the city to a more vibrant and convenient city, and has connected many electric vehicles in the capital to one of the ways to combat climate change.
We all know about the huge project of the city, about the corridor project, about the river project. We all saw what has been the change for the people in the roads, the new pedestrian roads, the new bicycle lanes. I think there's a huge change. And I definitely, and this brings us back to climate, of course, there are many more changes. The huge amount of electric cars today, which is a real change. 2 years back when I arrived, there was hardly any electric vehicle. Now you have so many in the city. From friends who ride an electric vehicle, I always see the point of infrastructure, so loading infrastructure for them. Also the after sale of the companies, the cars they bought. I think this will be something to work on, and I'm sure that there is work on that, so that it will be really successful, this green transition in a way to electric cars.
In regard to climate change and its factors, Ethiopia has a great initiative, the Green Legacy Initiative, which shows the commitment of the government towards contributing to climate change solutions. As a Chargé affairs noted, Ethiopia and Germany has also climate change cooperation so that they together do something towards addressing the effects of climate change.
It is one of our pillars of cooperation when it comes, and I can talk about our cooperation with Ethiopia, when it comes to this cooperation. It is not in that sense that we are the ones to plant the trees. I see this spearheaded by the Prime Minister himself. I see the Green Legacy as a wonderful example of bringing back nature, bringing back trees as a way of mitigation. When it comes to another part of our cooperation in terms of energy, because we all know people need firewood, people have goats, people need to cook their meals. So this is, I think, a great challenge for the forest. Now we focus on, for example, mini solar alternatives, so solar cooking stoves, for example, so that the people in the village don't have to go to the forest to cut the trees. We focus on mini biogas infrastructure, so that the people have a biogas combustion and thus don't have to cut the trees to nourish their fire. So I think these are very small seeds, of course, but I think some good examples which can be replicated.
Africa contributes the least to global emissions, yet faces some of the worst effects. Communities across the continent are already suffering from extreme heat and desertification. But how has the financial pledges of the developed nations been delivered so far?
The big issue is how to wisely implement this huge amount of money, so how to really mitigate. And I think these efforts on alternative energy resources is very important. But of course it's much wider, and we can talk about adaptation, mitigation, and of course many people have really challenges and hard times. And just to be clear on that, it is not only affecting Africa and African countries. In my home region in Germany, there was a huge flooding we never had before, and this is also due to climate change. So it is something which affects all of us. We all have to work hand in hand. And coming back to that question, I think it's most important how to wisely spend the money now on really working on this, on mitigation and adaptation to climate change.
The development of Africa is uniquely vulnerable to climate shocks, threatening decades of progress in poverty reduction and stability.